So John Hickenlooper shit the bed, as expected, in last night's debate. Let's look at one of his saddest moments.
Warned that Democrats will lose in 2020 if they embrace socialism, as you put it. You were booed at the California Democratic Convention when you said that. Only one candidate on this stage, Senator Sanders, identifies himself as a democratic socialist. What are the policies or positions of your opponents that you think are veering towards socialism?
Well, I think that the bottom line is if we don't clearly define that we are not socialists, the Republicans are going to come at us every way they can and call us socialists. And if you look at the Green New Deal, which I admire the sense of urgency and how important it is to do climate change, I'm a scientist, but we can't promise every American a government job. If you want to get universal health care coverage, I believe that health care is a right and not a privilege, but you can't expect to eliminate private insurance for 180 million people, many of whom don't want to give it up. In Colorado, we brought businesses and nonprofits together. We got to near universal health care coverage. We were the first state in America to bring the environmental community and the oil and gas industry to aggressively address methane emissions. And we were also the first place to expand reproductive rights on a scale basis, and we reduced teen pregnancy by 54%. We've done the big progressive things that people said couldn't be done. I've done what pretty much everyone else up here is still talking about doing.
Wrong. Okay, so there's a lot of hilarious stuff there. The silliest point is, we can't be socialists because then the Republicans might call us names like socialist. Hey, idiot. They just spent 8 years calling Barack Obama a socialist, and he's basically a moderate Republican. He did their goddamn healthcare plan. That's what Obamacare is. It's an individual mandate system. That philosophy came out of the Heritage Foundation, which is a right-wing think tank. They're gonna call you names no matter what. They called him a Kenyan Marxist. For fuck's sake, you have to know how shitty that argument is, man. Wow. Holy shit, that's bad. God, he's such a child on stage. So, here's the other part of that is just so infuriating. And he keeps doing this. This is a talking point he uses all the time. I got near universal health coverage in Colorado. So, in other words, you didn't get universal health coverage. Isn't it weird bragging about that, given the fact that there are people in your state who are still struggling and not covered and going bankrupt from medical bills? Isn't that weird? Don't you feel like a piece of shit when you're bragging about fixing it and you didn't fix it? Oh my God. And then he also says, I got the oil and gas companies and the environmental community to get together. And so we, worked on methane regulations. What in the fuck? That's like saying, I got the wolf and the sheep to sit together and we ironed out a deal. Bro, you do realize that having people at the table when talking about regulations, it shouldn't be the people that you're about to regulate who are at the table. How do you not understand this? How do you not get that they have a giant conflict of interest and they're not looking out for what's best for the American people? I mean, the fact that I have to point this out is honestly embarrassing. You don't understand that? By the way, John Hickenlooper, massive fracking enthusiast. So this is the kind of silly centrism that makes people fucking mock you. It's like saying, well, we invited to the table the exact same people who crashed the global economy and paid bonuses after they bankrupted their own companies. We invited them to the table to craft the solution. Because you're a fucking idiot at best, or you're just a corporate tool at worst, and you're cynical. Whatever it is, I don't like you. You're a joke. You're polling at about 1%, and you're going to stay there.